guys, it's me, Kate again. So in this video, I'll be talking about Stalked Reviews Reading 2022 Reading Challenge TBR. So I'll go through prompts, and if I don't have a book, I'll just say that I don't for that prompt. So the first prompt is to read a historical romance. For that, I'll be reading A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, in which we are following Monty, who is just about to go on to his grand tour with his sister Felicity and his best friend Percy, who he might or may not be in love with. Then is to read a controversial book. I'll need to find one. Then is to read a recommendation by a friend. I'll need to ask a friend for a recommendation. Then is to read a New York Times bestseller. I think I own several of those, so I don't just need to pick one. Then 5 is to read a YA book. I'll be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, in which we are following Farah, who one day while hunting for her family accidentally kills a fey wolf, whose bosun comes and takes her to his court. Then is to read then is to read the book you can read in a day, and I'll be rereading Felix Ever After by Canson Calendar. Only reason why I know I can read this in a day, which is because when I first read, I actually read it in a day. So in the East one, we were following Felix Love, who is black, queer, and transgender, and one day he starts to be a victim of transphobic bullying at school, and also gets himself in a quasi-life triangle with his best friend and his best friend's ex. Then the prompt is to read Unknown Voices novel, and I'll be reading All Boys Aren't Blue, which is by George M. Johnson, which is his memoir about being black and queer. I know it's technically not a novel, but I couldn't find any. Then is to read a book set in a country you'd love to visit. I'll be reading Girl of Mine because part of it is in England, part of it is in US. I want to travel to both. It's by Zoe Sagan. In it, we are following Penny, who after an unfortunate incident in school ends up going with her parents, who are wedding planners, to the wedding they're planning in New York, when she meets a boy named Noah, and stuff goes from there. Then is to read a classic. I'll be rereading Ramayana by R.K. Narayan, which is a short and prose version of Indian epic, which is about a mythical Indian king named Rama, who was actually exiled for his kingdom on 13 years. Then we have to read a chicklet. I'll find one. To read a debut novel. I'll need to check what's the debut novel of an author, so. Then is to read a fantasy novel, and I'll be reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first book in the Stormlight Archive. In this series, we're following the war between the Aleti and the Parshendi, and it all started when Parshendi killed the Aleti king. That was 300 years ago, and now the war has lost its purpose, and they're fighting only to control shard plates, and shard plates, which are these magical swords and shields that give its wearer magical powers. Then is to read the Goodreads Choice Awards winner. I'll be rereading A Court of Silver Flames, which is fourth full-length book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. Then is to read a horror. I do have a few on my script app, so I'll just read one of them. Then is to read the book over 500 pages. I'll be reading Words of Radiance by Ben Sanderson, which is a sequel to The Way of Kings and the second book in the Stormlight Archive. Then is to read a book published in 2022. I need to get my hands on one. Then is to read an award-winning book. I'll need to find one. Then is to read a book that makes you nostalgic. I'll be rereading Girl Online on Tour by Zoe Saga, which is sequel to Girl Online, and it actually makes me nostalgic because I read those first two books around when I was about 11 or 12, and now I'm almost 18. So then is to read the Family Saga. I'll need to find one because I'm not sure if I own any. And then is to read a book written in foreign language. I'll be rereading A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which is the second book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Actually, if you didn't know, English is my second language, so automatically for me it's in the foreign language. So if you enjoy this video, like, share and subscribe. Down below you have my social media, my email and some other stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.